There will always be two types of human beings. Most of the people, most of the humans, they are followers. In whichever society they are born, they accept the norms of that society. They don't question them. Why do you believe in this? They accept whatever their parents believe. And they start, in the journey of their life. They don't question. How do you believe it? And why do you believe it? And why should I accept anything only because you believe in those things? I must know the truth for myself. So actually most of the people, here again I am using the same expression, 99.9 recurrent percent of people in this world have always been, are today, and will ever be followers. They follow. They don't question. They don't criticize. They don't demand arguments. But there have always been and will always be, although in minority, a microscopic minority, some people who question, why should I believe this? How come? How do you believe these things? So these people, you may call them, the intellectuals, although they are a microscopic minority. Actually, they are the pacemakers. They strive to get the truth for themselves, to have the knowledge for themselves. They make research, then they argue, they make a comparative study. Then whatever they accept, it is usually followed by others. Let me give you two examples. Imagine, who was Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, a prince, and living in a palace, brought up in a palace. He was the would-be king of that kingdom. That was quite a big kingdom. But that was a person of that time. He started thinking, what we believe, is it correct? Especially, why is there suffering in this world? He saw a blind man who was born blind. What was his fault? Why he was born blind? And he saw, an infant dying, and the parents standing by the side of that infant. Can't do anything. They know our beloved child is going, but they can't do anything. All this suffering, can there be any salvation? Can man be saved from this suffering? So that was the starting point of his inquiry into the reality and truth. What are the basic truths of this universe? So that was the reason why he left his palace. At the prime of his youth, he was 30 years old, married, left wife sleeping, and an infant son was also sleeping by the side of the mother. All the things, which a person loves in this world, the comforts and luxuries of the palace, a young wife, and now an infant son also. Left everything, went out into the wilderness. This is the word of the Bible, a cry from the wilderness. It is used for Hazrat Yahya alayhi salatu wassalam. So he went into wilderness. And how many years? For about 40 years, he kept roaming about to this rishi and to this muni and to this learned person and to this person. Now I don't know exactly the conclusions which he reached. And we can't say, because there are different sects of the Buddhists, and all of them, ascribe different things to Buddha. And because he belongs to an era before Christ, so it's very difficult, and that his teachings are, preserved. So I only wanted to give an example. There have been people who want to know the things for themselves, to have a direct knowledge of the basic truths of this universe. And they can sacrifice everything for that. The comforts of a palace, the luxuries of a palace, the would-be, the future, that he would be the king or the ruler of that kingdom. But he gave up everything to have the knowledge of the reality. Who was Salman Farsi? Radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He was born in Iran, and the people worshipped fire. And he was born in the house of a priest, just like Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. He was born to Azar. And Azar, you know, he was a priest. He used to make idols. The same was the case here. A custodian of a place of worship. Hazrat Salman radiyallahu ta'ala was born to him. But then he said to himself, it's ridiculous. We burn this fire, we add fuel to it, we light this fire. If we don't add fuel to it, it can't continue burning. And then we stand, folded hands before this fire, and you ask the blessings from this fire. It's ridiculous. I'm not ready to accept it. What was the fate? He had to leave his home and heart, just as the father of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said to him, Araghibun anta an alihati ya Ibrahim? La illam tantahi la arjumannaka wahjurni maliya. This is in Surah Maryam alayhi salam. Are you leaving my gods, the gods whom I worship? You don't want to worship them? No, I will stone you to death if you don't change your attitude, or you have to leave this house. Go away from my sight. The same fate happened and occurred to Hazrat Salman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He left his home and heart, even his country, just as Ibrahim, migrated from Iraq to Syria. He had to migrate again from Iran to Syria. What a similarity between the life of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Hazrat Salman from Iran, Salman al-Farsi radiyallahu ta'ala. He also migrated to Syria. That was the seat of learning. He became Christian, and Christianity was the deen of Islam of that day. Because before the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was the era of the prophethood and messengerhood of Hazrat Masih alayhi salatu wasalam. So he became a Muslim, so to say. So he accepted Christianity. And he was under the training and teaching of so many rahibs, knowledgeable persons, Christians. But the last one with whom he was getting knowledge, when he was on his deathbed, Salman said to him, well, my thirst of knowledge has not been quenched up till now. Now you are also dying. Where do I go after you? And then that rahib, he said, my knowledge tells me that the time of the appearance of the last prophet has come near. And he will appear towards the south, in the land of the dates. So go there, try your luck. If you are sincere, maybe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes you to him, and your thirst for guidance and knowledge is quenched. So after that rahib died, Hazrat Salman, he started his journey with a caravan towards the Arabian Peninsula, the land of the dates. But that caravan was looted, attacked by robbers. Salman was taken a prisoner, and what did the prisoner mean at that time? A slave. He was sold, but his purchaser was a Jew of Medina. So he reached Medina anyhow. There he heard that someone at Makkah had made a claim. He has made a claim that he is a prophet. But now he is tied in the chains of slavery. He can't go. He can't move. He is a slave now. So he kept waiting. And I do say these words about Salman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. In Urdu we say that कुआं आया है चलकर प्यासे के पास. Pyasa was Salman. Kuwa was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The well came over to the thirsty. In the case of Salman, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina, and thus the desire of Hazrat Salman was fulfilled. I can't go into further details. They are very interesting incident. How he approached the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The question that he asked, he had an identity told to him that this will be the identity of that Prophet. And he, he fulfilled and he satisfied himself that he is really the person to whom he had referred. So these are the three examples of those persons who don't accept things, only because people believe in them, only because their parents believed in them. They question something, they criticize them, and then they want to know the truth for themselves. And they are ready to sacrifice everything for that cause. Everything which is, loved by people, but they can sacrifice all those things for the sake of gaining the truth, the knowledge of the truth.